When you're hot, you're hot. Lisle's 20-13 record, the worst in the Elite Eight, but the Lions have won 9 of their last 10. They face third-ranked Cairo, the Pilots and the Lions, next on the IHSA TV network. And you are looking live at the basketball capital of Illinois, at least this weekend and next, Carver Arena in downtown Peoria, March Madness Class A style. Hello and welcome to Peoria. I'm Lee Hall. We've got 3 teams already in. Warrensburg Latham, Hales Franciscan out of Chicago, and second-ranked Mount Carroll, all in tomorrow's semifinals. We need to punch one more dance card for tomorrow. Will it be Lisle, one of the hottest teams coming in, or will it be Cairo? We will find out coming up next. Here to call the game for you, Kurt Pegler and Doug Altenberger. Guys?
Well, thank you, Lee. As you say, 3 teams have already punched their ticket for the state semifinals tomorrow, and an interesting matchup in this last state quarterfinal between Lisle and Cairo. Kurt Pegler, Doug Altenberger with you. Doug, this game resembles the game that we saw this afternoon between Hales Franciscan and Bree Central, and the fact that one team wants to up-tempo it, and one team would rather really count the possessions.
Well, Lisle is a team that really wants to slow it down, you know, reduce the possessions, take some time off the clock. On the other hand, Cairo, they want to come at you, full court pressure, up tempo, use their athleticism out there and really try to get the game, force turnovers, and use their talent. That's the type of setup that they want to do tonight.
Let's take a look at how these teams got to Peoria. The road to Peoria for Cairo included a sectional semifinal win over Anna Jonesboro and the sectional championship win in Metropolis against DuQuoin, and then they beat Benton to win the super sectional title. That was at the SIU Super on Tuesday in Carbondale. Meanwhile, Lisle's road to Peoria included a win over Coal City in the regional championship game, and the Reed-Custer sectional championship had a Burlington Central win, 72-55, and then beating Princeton in the DeKalb super sectional. That was on Tuesday night. Well, let's talk about the key players for tonight's game. When you talk about Cairo, you talk about their very fine second-team All-Stater, Brandon Childs.
Yeah, and this guy, he's the floor general for these guys. He's the guy that gets everything for Coach Baldwin and these guys. So he looks for him for a big night. Let the team get going early here, and he's your leadership guy. He needs to step up tonight.
He's just a junior. Meanwhile, Lisle has an outstanding junior as well in Pierre Parker.
Well, Pierre Parker, you know, he comes from T.J. Parker, his older brother. I mean, this guy, maybe he's talked to his brother a little bit. He's got to be ready to have a big game here for tonight.
All right, let's break down this ball game. If Cairo is to win and move into the state semifinals, what do the Pilots have to do, Doug?
Well, the Pilots really got to stretch the court, really go up tempo, run, and then that full court press, which is like their bread and butter. And they also got to get the ball in the post. Even though you want to go outside, you want to get that ball in the post, score inside.
All right, meanwhile, the Lisle Lions, if they're to be successful tonight, what's their game plan?
Yeah, they've got to do it. They control the glass, keep them off at the offensive boards, and they can't get involved in a track meet going up and down. They don't have the depth, and that we talked about. Make every possession count, reduce the possessions, slow the game down.
I think you hammer a good point home. One team wants it to be about a 50-possession game. The other team wants it to be about a 70-possession game. So it just depends on what side of the coin you're flipping, huh?
Yeah, exactly. And both coaches, I mean, they're very different styles. So we're going to see 2 contrasting styles. And in that first 5 minutes is very important who can set the tempo.
One team from the north part of the state, one team from the south part of the state, and one team is going to be going into the state semifinals tomorrow. 3 teams in, 1 team left to decide. So for the starting lineups, let's go now to our public address announcer, Paul Herzog.
Good evening, basketball fans. On behalf of the Illinois High School Association and the city of Peoria, welcome to America's original March Madness. Tonight's Class A quarterfinal game in Carver Arena features the Pilots of Cairo High School, 27-4. And the Lisle Lions at 20-13. Let's meet the teams for this final quarterfinal contest. For Cairo, a 5'10 senior, 5, Jerry Hardiman. A 5'9 sophomore, 10, Anthony Duncan. 6-foot sophomore, 12, Eric Williams. 6-foot sophomore, 20, Byron Johnson. 5'10", sophomore, 32, Chris Davis. 6'5", junior, 33, Seville Bell. 6'4", junior, 35, Kalen Lowe. 6'1", senior, 40, Jason Cross. 6'3", sophomore, 42, Jeremy Woods. And a 6'3", junior, 50, Anthony Jackson. Here are the Lisle Lions. 6-foot sophomore, 11, Jeff Robinson. 6-foot senior, 21, Kevin Schmidt. 6'2", junior, 30, David Sally. 5'9", sophomore, 32, Ryan Williams. The 6'3", junior, 40, John McDonald. And a 5'10", junior, 41, Paul Mutchler. And now the starting lineups. At a guard for Cairo, a 6-foot junior, 15, Brandon Childs. At center for Lisle, a 6'3", senior, 13, Brandon Boyd. At center for the Pilots, a 6'5", senior, 22, Anthony Mackins. A 6-foot junior guard for the Lions, 22, Tamaris Crowder. A 5'6", junior guard for Cairo, 25, Gary Williams. For Lisle, a 6'2", junior forward, 23, Pierre Parker. For Cairo, a 6'4", forward, a senior, 30, Devontae Williams. For Lisle, a 6'1", senior forward, 31, Matt Logeman. For the Pilots, a 6'2", senior forward, 45, Roman Wright. And for the Lions, a 5'9", junior guard, 33, Mike Doxey. No other state in America can claim the rich history and traditions been generated by March Madness in Illinois. March Madness is an IHSA thing. It always has been and always will be. Fans, direct your attention to the court.
You see the Cairo Pilots head coach Larry Baldwin in his 9th year, 166 wins and 92 losses. Lisle coached by Mark D'Amico in his 19th season, 343 wins, 176 losses. Lisle's first trip to the state quarterfinals. Let's take a look at those starting fives again for each team. Doing battle, Williams, Wright, Mackins, Childs, and another Williams for Cairo. Lisle sends Pierre Parker and Matt Logeman up front. Boyd, Crowder, and Doxey round up their five. The officials working this final state quarterfinal of the night: Timothy Lash, Robert Smith, Daryl Stremming here at Carver Arena. Again, as we said, 3 teams have already punched their ticket for the state semifinals. One of these 2 teams will be headed to that state semifinal as well. Lisle is considered the home team, so they'll be wearing their home white uniforms with navy blue trim, and the Pilots of Cairo come out in their road blue uniforms with white trim. 2 teams from contrasting parts of the state. Lisle up near Chicago. Cairo is almost in Kentucky, right on the border, just on the tip of Illinois at the Mississippi and Ohio rivers.
And Kurt, you were talking about where Cairo only played like 3 or 4 home games all year, which really makes their record even more spectacular.
Well, when you're an independent, you got to schedule people all over the map, sometimes out of state. That'll happen. And the tip is controlled by Lisle, and it's Parker right away who gets the tip, and he scores. So Pierre Parker picks up the first loose ball and shoots it in. It's 2-0 in favor of the Lions, who at 20 and 13 have more losses than anybody in the state, but sometimes it's one of those teams that gets rolling like that.
Well, and we talked about it's the teams catching fire at the right time, and both these teams really have got to have the mindset that it's 0-0. It doesn't matter what you've done in the past year. It's got to take advantage of the team gives you right here, right this moment.
And a turnover. Parker comes away with it up ahead to Tamaris Crowder, who lays it in, and it's quickly 4-0 in favor of the Lions.
Yeah, you got to take care of the basketball. I mean, Lisle is a smart, heady team, and if they can get easy buckets down in the transition game off turnovers, that takes a lot of pressure off their half-court game.
And we've got our first foul is whistled against Crowder, who just scored that point for Lisle, so that's the first foul of the game. The first foul of the half certainly on Lisle. We're just underway. It's 4-0 in favor of the Lisle Lions. Taking on the Cairo Pilots in this final state quarterfinal on this Friday session. One of these teams advances to the Final Four tomorrow. Three ball is up and missed that time by Childs, his first shot of the night. Both teams will play man-to-man defenses and probably little else. Now it's Logaman for three. And the Lions are 3 out of 3 right out of the gate as far as shooting is concerned. 7-0 in favor of Lisle, and a quick timeout by Larry Baldwin. This IHSA broadcast is brought to you by Country Insurance and Financial Services. Real people, real answers, real quick. Where are these two teams located? Lisle is up near Chicago, up in DuPage County. Cairo almost off the map, all the way down to the bottom in Alexander County, so these teams are a long way away. And as far as the tale of the two cities is concerned, well, as we mentioned, Cairo down in the southern part of the state, 4,400 in the town. Alexander County, 216 in the school. They are independent. Lisle has 19,000 in the city, and DuPage County, 615 is the enrollment. They are members of the Interstate 8.
Well, like you said, they're a long way off that 6-hour bus ride. They got to get the cobwebs out of here right now. They're come out a little bit flat. Good timeout by Larry Baldwin just to gather the troops and get them organized.
A nice spin move down low, and Anthony Mackins is on the board, and he gives the first basket of the game for the Pilots. Yeah, you mentioned that's a 6-hour bus trip, about 300 miles from Cairo to Peoria. They had time for 2 full-length movies on that bus trip yesterday. Logum in the miss. He's 1 out of 2 from the three-point arch now. Not out of bounds. The ball goes to the Pilots. 7-2, Lisle the lead early on here in Peoria.
And it's very important that Lisle does get the lead so that they don't have to play catch-up against a much speedier and quicker team for the Pilots.
And Devontae Williams with a quick turnaround and quickly 4 points to answer the 7-0 run.
A good adjustment there at that timeout, getting the ball inside. They're shooting some quick shots in the perimeter.
And a steal, and now the Pilots come back. They've scored 4 straight points, and with a 3-ball would tie the game. Shot no good that time from Mackins. But a steal in the backcourt by Childs, and there's going to wave off the basket, or they're going to say it's before the basket. At either rate, it's going to be no basket. No shot, they say. That foul before the shot.
And this is the type of tempo now that Cairo likes, up and down the court, forcing turnovers, getting in a transition game. If it's not there, they'll run the secondary break, look to get that ball inside.
And now it's 6 straight points. Boy, the Pilots have come right back and scored and scored and scored. That basket there by Mackins. But now a steal, a bad pass. It's picked off by Logaman. Ahead to Parker, and he laid it in. So Parker now with 4 of his team's 9 points.
Right there, 13!
And we've got a whistle away from play, and it's going to be against Lisle.
Yeah, a lot of contact down on the post area.
When you take a look at the tournament history, Cairo had a storied history for a long time, but the Pilots' first trip since 1993, when they had a 3rd place finish. Back in 81, they were a 3rd place finisher as well, and lost in the quarterfinals in 75 and 76. And as we mentioned, Lisle's making its first ever trip to the State Elite Eight. Right place, right time for Williams. He collected the air ball from Childs and he laid it in. And it's now a 1-point game, 9-8 in favor of Lisle. The Lions do a nice job of breaking that full court pressure. Jeff Robinson is in the game for the first time for Lisle. That's him getting his shot stripped, and he lost the ball on the baseline out of bounds to the Pilots.
We talk about help and recovery. There's an example where the Lions did have the numbers down in the post area, he hesitated, and good recovery by and see the speed and quickness by Cairo to come back and block that shot.
And after spotting Lisle a 7-zip lead, Cairo has a chance to take the lead back. Here's Childs, and he may have walked, he did. Dragged that pivot foot and whistled for the violation.
Yeah, a lot of times you're trying to create off the dribble, especially against the zone, hit those seams, and it's just a little bit too quick there. Moves that pivot foot, gets called for the traveling.
Each team now with 3 quick turnovers here in the first 3+ minutes of action. Long lead pass ahead to Parker. His short shot rolls out. Robinson is there for the rebound. Stick it back and stick it in. So Jeff Robinson off the bench, he scores better than 7 points a night, is contributing right away. And answering really quick is Gary Williams. He hits the pull-up jumper. Now this is the kind of pace that the Pilots want, up and down, and Parker all the way down, and he scores, draws the foul, an opportunity for a 3-point play.
And what Parker is doing, sometimes you want to break the press by getting in the middle of the court, but he's noticing he's sneaking behind the pressure, getting behind the defense. Good job by Lisle, the rest of the guys, to look up court and find Parker, and when they do, he's able to finish it off. So got to make the adjustment, the Pilots do. Got to know where he is. Don't let him get behind you, especially on the press.
Missed free throw, but a missed opportunity that time as Brandon Boyd couldn't knock home the bunny. But he comes away with a steal now in the front court. It's a 3-on-2. Doxey may have walked, got away with it, put it back up and laid it in. So Mike Doxey scores his first basket, and it's a 5-point Lisle lead. Roman, the miss, tipped up. Ball is still loose, still on the floor. Doxey comes away with it. Now Parker ahead to Robinson. Parker's going to try a 3. Airballed it. Now Brandon Childs comes back. Up and down action. Childs all the way down. Drew contact, no foul, missed the shot. Logeman goes back and gets for Lisle, and right now head coach Mark D'Amico is pleading with his team to slow this pace down.
Yeah, he can't really be happy, but you know, Lisle is a deceivingly quick team. They don't have a lot of big guys, so they do have the ability to run up and down the court. I'm sure that's not what the coach wants, but...
And a steal now. Anthony Mackins, he gives it up. It's Williams from the outside, missed it, got his own rebound, and put it right back in with the right hand.
Yeah, you really got to watch your passing angles. Mackins does a great job of anticipating, reading the passer's eyes, and is able to get that steal.
Mackins has 4. Cairo has 4 points off Lisle turnovers. Parker, top of the key, 3 is good.
Yeah, much better rotation on that shot. The shot before that almost looked like had side spin on it, and you could see why he airballed it.
Now Williams tries to answer. His 3 ball is short. Robinson clears now ahead to Parker with 1 man to beat. Williams, he throws up the shot left-handed, can't get it, got it right back. Tiptoes on the baseline, but may have stepped out of bounds. Yes, he did. So Lisle turns it back over, and now we've got some substitutions as David Sally and John McDonald check into the Lisle lineup.
Yeah, again, Parker's doing a nice job, so he can go one-on-ones. Not a lot of help defense, and he feels right now that he can beat anybody in the blue jersey, and he's taking it right to the hole every time. Really feels it here in the first period.
Seville Bell is first off the bench for Lisle as he replaces Roman Wright. 18-12, Lisle with a 6-point lead as we approach the 2-minute mark left here. First quarter of the last state quarterfinal on Friday night. Nice spin move and lay in that time by Anthony Mackins. He's got 6.
Yeah, there's nothing. The Lisle has no answer for Mackins down low. This guy is just dominating inside. So if you're the guards for these guys, you want to know where he is at all times.
And a steal, and the Pilots in transition. Oh! He misses, and the follow that time is jammed home by Devontae Williams. And that's the kind of style that the Pilots want to play. Parker trying to create in the corner, now gives it up to Doxey. And he's fouled.
Yeah, I mean, you look up at the tempo, and it feels like Cairo should be up much more. And they should be up much more, and they're not. And Actually, they're down. So Lisle doing a good job so far here in the first period. The question is, Kurt, can they maintain to play at this pace over the whole expansion of the game?
Well, Anthony Duncan now comes in, and he'll give Gary Williams a break. Larry Baldwin says he's not afraid to play 8 or 9 deep, especially when you have to play that style of up and down basketball. Robinson had the ball knocked out of his hands. Now it's Parker. He works the baseline and drew contact. The foul's going to be on Devontae Williams.
See, Parker did a nice job with the ball fake there. Makes him come out and guard him. He reads the defense, then goes to the baseline with his right hand, even though he's left-handed. And again, he feels like he can take these guys on the dribble every time. Nice patience, though, on that possession.
2-point Lisle lead the Lions with the basketball as we approach the 1-minute mark left in the first quarter, and it's a turnover. A 5-second call whistled against the Lions.
Seemed like a quick 5 seconds. Usually give you 5 seconds and then give you a new count after you dribble the basketball.
Well, you see some of the scoring highs and lows on the season. For Cairo, they had a 97-point game against a school from Missouri. Meanwhile, 80 is the high for Lisle. They did that against Plano back in January. So these two teams do know how to put the ball in the hole.
Yeah, they sure do. And both of them really are sort of unconventional. I mean, you look at them, they totally different styles, but the styles work for their team and their coaches.
Child's 3 is good.
Coach Larry Baldwin, he was giving it the body English on that one, looking for that to go in. Good big jump shot by Childs.
And a 19-18 Cairo lead. The Pilots have their first lead of the night. And Parker just threw the ball in the backcourt. Mackins tried to go get it, and he lost it out of bounds. So the Pilots had a golden opportunity to take advantage of an over and back, maybe get a basket on the turnover, but couldn't come away with it. And so with 35 seconds to go, we'll see if Lisle gets the last shot. Doxey had the ball knocked out of his hands by an aggressive Anthony Duncan.
Yeah, Duncan's a nice asset to have off the bench for Larry Baldwin. He can come off and doesn't lose much with him out there.
They actually call him Tim Duncan. If my last name was Duncan, I'd want to be called Tim too. His birth name is Anthony, but the players say they call him Tim, so does the head coach. So we may call him Tim, we may call him Anthony. It depends on his game tonight, right? Under 15 seconds here in the
if he plays well, it's Tim. If he plays poorly, it's Anthony.
There's Robinson in the corner now with 5 to shoot. Hangs, fires, missed the shot. Parker gets the rebound, had it swatted out of there, though, on a good defensive play by Seville Bell. 19-18, Cairo with a first quarter lead at the end of one, a 1-point lead. Back with the second quarter from Carver Arena after this local break. (19-18) Cairo, a 1-point lead at the end of one. Let's go to our sideline reporter, Lee Hall.
All right, Kurt, thanks. We are with Tony Parker. His son plays for the Spurs. His son TJ plays for Northwestern. Your son Pierre's out here tonight. You kind of had a tough call tonight. Go to the United Center to watch Northwestern or come here?
First choice was to come here tonight because I was at Northwestern's game yesterday.
Right.
So it was an easy choice to come out tonight.
Tell me about Pierre's got 2 older brothers, very successful in basketball. How does he handle that?
He handles it pretty well. I mean, you know, it's like it's his turn now. You know, at Lisle High School, he's a junior this year. He'll be a senior next year, so he's working very hard.
Yeah, we thought we might see you here last year.
Yeah, well, we thought so too. But it's even better that we're here this year.
Okay, as a father of a future athlete, how do you do it?
Just, you know, keep them focused. You know, just keep them concentrated and motivated.
All right, thanks a lot. Good luck to you here tonight.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, I'm going to write notes on that. I got to take those notes down. I'm going to get back to you right after this.
Yeah, thank you, Lee. Yeah, what a great family bloodline as far as sports is concerned, that Parker family. Tony Parker with the San Antonio Spurs, T.J. Parker with Northwestern, the Wildcats, and now Pierre Parker is doing a terrific job with the Lisle Lions, leading them to their first ever state quarterfinal appearance. Devontae Williams knocks down both those free throws for Cairo, and the Pilots' lead now is 21-18.
Last year's team was 25-3. I think they were expecting to come down here. So then this year's team, when they started off, was pretty slow, 14-3 in the regular season, but they put it together here in the last 7 games.
Well, there's no doubt about it. Mark D'Amico, the Lions head coach, said we expected to be here last year, not this year, so it's almost been a very pleasant surprise as Cairo turns the ball over in transition. Been a pleasant surprise for a team that really struggled. In fact, it was a very rough month of January for Lisle. They went 4-8 between December the 28th and February the 1st, and since that time they've won 9 of 10, so they've turned it around, and now all alone is Doxey behind the press. Somebody forgot to pick up a defensive assignment.
Yeah, someone's got to check back. It's like being a defensive back and make sure that no one gets behind you. But again, Lisle keeps reading that, and they keep doing it. No adjustment by the Pilots.
Well, that was a touchdown because there were no defensive backs in the backfield there. And now Lisle back with the basketball with a chance to regain the lead.
It almost looked like it was a trick play, but I don't think the only one that was fooled was the guys in blue.
Brandon Boyd on the low block looking for help. He may have drawn contact on a foul, which he did.
But Boyd does a nice job of getting down on the blocks and then establishing his pivot foot. Does a good job of getting the ball fake and then knife through the defense and gets to the foul line. It's a very tough thing to do when you're going against guys 6'6", 6'5",
right.
And he's giving up a lot of size and height down low.
Seville Bell whistled for the foul for the Pilots, and that's Cairo's 4th of this opening half. And so Boyd makes the first free throw, and now we've got a substitution for the Pilots as Gary Williams, who started the game, is now back in. He'll send Anthony Duncan to the bench, and I think you made a nice observation there, Doug, is that Duncan really gives Cairo a nice lift off that bench. He knows his role. Missed free throw, got the offensive board, but couldn't finish. Nearly was a three-point play the hard way. We're tied at 21. Now Williams had his pocket picked that time by Tamaris Crowder, who snuck from behind, now spins and looks for help and had his shot snuffed out of there. And now the long lead pass is ahead to Childs. He's all the way down, lays it in.
That was a big turn of events. You know, Lisle goes down, has got the numbers, but they lose the ball on the other end. Cairo comes down and scores in transition, so tough turnaround, 4-point play right there.
And Cairo is now back in front at 23-22. Here's Crowder. His short shot is missed. Tried to get it back. Pilots lost it momentarily, but it's Williams who comes up with it. Now he flips it ahead, and here's Childs for 3. 5 straight points now for Brandon Childs, and it's a 5-point Pilots advantage.
Yeah, Lisle needs to get the ball back into Pierre Parker's hands. I mean, he's the guy that, he's the straw that mixes the drink. I mean, they need him to get his touches every time.
Childs now with 8. He averages 21 a game for the Pilots. Yeah, Parker's been a bit quiet after starting out of the gates with 9 quick points. Now Doxey hangs, fires. His shot is short. Long rebound is controlled by Lugaman.
Yeah, there's example. A couple guys sneak it out on the break too quickly. No one there for the long rebound.
Devontae Williams all the way down, draws contact. Offensive foul. So they'll wave the basket off.
Yeah, in order to go up, you know, to get the fast break going, everybody's got to stay at home and play defense. Here, good defense by Mike Doxey, who gets right in there, holds his ground, and Williams gets called for the charge. You got to pull up or go around him. Don't go right through him. And good call by the official.
Well, as many fast break points as Cairo would like to have. Right now, the Pilots have only scored 1 fast break basket, but they've got 18 points in the paint, so they've actually been doing it inside as opposed to in transition.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they shot some shots early in the opening of the game from three-point land, but most everything's coming inside now.
Parker fires the three, and the long rebound goes out to Childs now. Quickly back. He takes it down. He missed the shot. Back to get it is Brandon Boyd, but it appears he was over the back.
The one thing Lisle can do is they can get to the offensive boards. You see the Pilots, a lot of people are sneaking out to get on that transition, get that fast break going. So if you could sort of get enough white jerseys going to the offensive glass, you get some putbacks.
5-point lead for Cairo with the basketball. Here's Childs. He's going to try a long-range three. It's short. Robinson clears. He tries to flip ahead to Doxey, who lost his footing at the timeline, so it goes right back over to Cairo. Nice reverse layup by Kalen Lowe, who's just checked into the basketball game and showing off his athleticism.
Oh, what a great move. Used his left hand, goes underneath the basket. That was a big-time move right there.
Lowe with 16 points off the bench in the sectional championship game can give his team a nice offensive spark. Robinson missed the shot, got his offensive rebound, put it back up, and drew the foul. So Jeff Robinson, the hard-working sophomore, is going to get to the free throw line.
Yeah, he's only 6 feet tall, but he's playing like he's 6'6", getting a lot of success down in that paint area. He's able to get to the open spot, and done a nice job here early on here in the first half to get open and get some needed points off the bench for Lisle.
Robinson is a 63% free throw shooter and has played some solid minutes here in the first half. Anthony Duncan is going to come back in to the game for Cairo, and he'll give, again, Gary Williams a rest. So those two point guards have done a nice job rotating themselves in and out of the play here.
And he has that luxury to go to the bench. He can go 8, 9 deep. And whenever you play, it seems like the teams that we've seen so far in the transition up-tempo like to go to that bench. They play 8 or 9 guys to play that style.
Lisle will have the ball when we come back. They're down 28-21. This IHSA broadcast is brought to you by Echo Tractor. You've got to drive one. Now, this network break.
I look back then, we were struggling. We had a lot of ups and downs. We had a lot of things we need to fix. And the one thing I liked about this team, I was telling somebody that they came into the gym every day. They realized some of their weaknesses, and they really worked hard at trying to get those straightened out. So I've always, that's the one thing when I look back, they stayed focused, they didn't quit, and they tried to, every day they came in, they tried to work on what they needed to do to get better. So I think that was one of the keys.
That's Lisle head coach Mark D'Amico talking about that 4-8 month of January, and certainly his team did turn it around because they've won 9 of 10 games since that funk kind of ended. And they've put together a nice streak to get themselves into their first ever state quarterfinal. And they've got the basketball, and they're trailing Cairo 28-21. Robinson's in trouble, nearly lost the ball, but Duncan's going to be whistled for a foul.
Yeah, both teams already, both sides have got a lot of turnovers. And you see Lisle's got 9 turnovers, and you would think that would be high already here in the first half, but Cairo's already got 8 turnovers too, so the turnover war is pretty much even.
You see the state track and field championships for the Cairo boys, 83, 85, 88, 90, and 92. They'd like to add some basketball hardware to that trophy case, which has all kinds of track hardware.
You look at a couple guys out here, I think they could run track. You got guys who can run the 100-yard dash for 220. And
I think of a guy, Tyrone Nesby, who's a former NBA player playing overseas now, and what a great high school track and field athlete he was for the Pilots. And now we've got a whistle away from the basketball, and it's going to be against the Pilots for setting an illegal screen.
And that's the thing that's really kept Lisle in this game so far is Cairo's turnovers, and a lot of those are unforced turnovers.
Lisle's Class A volleyball championship came in 1986, and they had a 3rd place finish in 1987, so they've had some success on the volleyball court and hoping for some on the basketball court. There's Logeman, gives it up, nice pass. Brandon Boyd tried to finish, but we've got a foul, and it's going to be against the Pilots. A couple of bodies on the floor.
And Boyd went down hard there. He's holding his lip, goes inside, and he's having a tough day out there right now. He's got a lot of guys on tacking him and from all sides, and when you've got the Pilots, as they go deep into their bench, they can afford to give up some fouls once in a while.
So to the free throw line goes Brandon Boyd, who has really stepped it up in the postseason. His scoring average is just 4.5 points a game, but he's had 4 double-digit scoring games in the postseason. So he's one of those guys when the lights and camera and everything seems to be at its brightest in the postseason, he stepped his game up.
Yeah, he's a prime-time player, as they say, when he's a clutch player.
And Mark D'Amico, the head coach, said one of the things that maybe lit a fire under him was he lost his starting position halfway through the season and worked his way back into the starting 5.
Well, that's happened. Sometimes as a coach, you got to set guys on the bench and almost start from scratch and grab their attention. And Mark was able to do that.
6-point Cairo lead. The Pilots with a basketball. Here's Duncan spinning, short shot in the lane. Can't get it. Loose ball is on the floor. Still on the floor. Lisle comes away with it somehow. It's Parker. He flips ahead to Robinson. Thought about the 3, stepped inside, gave it up. Nicely done, down to Boyd, who drew the foul. Larry Baldwin wanted a travel call when all that skirmish was going on out at the half court.
It looked like a rugby scum out there. Guys were moving all over the place. He wanted to travel him, but again, Robinson, the young sophomore, does a nice ball and head fake, and then goes to the lane, able to dish it off to the senior. Senior right now, Boyd, struggling from the free throw line, and he knows to go down, especially when they get those good looks.
Well, Boyd is a 52% free throw shooter, and right now he's at 3 of 6 at 50% for the game, so he's right at his average. 28-23, a 5-point Cairo lead. Pilots come back now. Tough shot by Childs. He can't get it. Ball is out of bounds to Lisle. We're under 3 minutes to go here in this first half of the last state quarterfinal. The winner of this game is going to get Mount Carroll. Mount Carroll advanced with a state quarterfinal victory prior to this game against Auburn. They await the winner. And that's a double dribble. That time on Mike Doxey.
Yeah,
that'll be the 11th turnover against Lisle.
And Doxey's a guy that handles the ball pretty well, but when you're going against that constant pressure, it wears on you, and he turns it over.
Childs had the 3, knocked down the 3, and so he's the first player now in double figures. Give Brandon Childs 11 of his team's 31.
Yeah, 3 for 6 from the field, Childs. You see points in the paint, and that's what the edge for the Pilots. They've done a great job getting the ball inside, and really it's in their transition game where they've had those easy buckets.
Well, you mentioned one of the keys to the game, Doug, was to get the post players involved and score some in the paint, not just rely on the fast break. And obviously the Pilots have done that successfully.
Yeah, they've got the numbers inside, and if they can establish themselves on the post and be a little more patient on the outside, they'll get what they want.
Parker gets a screen from Doxey, works his way to the baseline, missed the shot. Logeman gets the rebound. It's blocked, but he's fouled. Well, Larry Baldwin's got his hands in the air. He's thinking that was a clean block. Mackins is called for the foul, his second, the 10th team foul on Cairo. It'll be a 2-shot foul, but now the Pilots are in that double bonus situation, so Lisle will be shooting a pair of free throws in the remaining 150 of the half. And now we see Seville Bell comes back in, and he will replace Mackins with those 2 fouls. Doesn't want to pick up the 3rd one here late in the second period.
Yeah, and this is where Lisle can stay in the game here by being a little more efficient on the free throw line. Logeman's a sharpshooter from the 3-point line, and they seem to be coming up. But that's what happens, that pressure. We saw that earlier in the afternoon. Quick shots, and their legs start to get tired. You come up short on those free throws.
31-24, a 7-point Cairo lead. Nice dribbling exhibition put on by Childs. His lob that time is controlled by Bell. Somehow he did a nice job of keeping it in play. And now it's a 3-second violation. Well, the offense was a little kind of unorganized there, and that's what you're going to have a lot of times is a 3-second violation when things are kind of in a miscue form here.
Well, Childs breaks down 2 or 3 white jerseys, and Seville just could not handle that lob pass. If he does, he could have finished it off, but almost.
We approach the 1-minute mark left here in this opening half. Parker, 3-ball. Missed it. Rebound by Boyd. Put it back in.
Well, Boyd got away with a big shove on the offensive glass. No one saw it, and he gets the offensive putback.
Brandon Boyd now with 5 points. It's a 5-point Cairo lead. And immediately the Pilots go right back to the post, and it's going to be a 2-shot foul for Seville Bell. And Boyd has just picked up his 3rd foul. So he scored on one end, but then was whistled for his 3rd foul, and Mark D'Amico will get him out of the ball game right now as he sends David Sally to the scorer's table. So here comes Sally back in now, and he'll send Boyd to the bench with those 3 fouls.
And that's the problem with Lisle. The Lions don't have a lot of depth along the front line, and they really can't afford to have Boyd get in foul trouble. Now he's got 3, so look for the second half for the Pilots really to attack him.
Missed both free throws, got the offensive rebound, and a whistle is going to be on Lisle, and it's going to be on Mike Doxey. So more free throws coming now for the Pilots. It's a big disparity so far in free throws attempted. Right now, Lisle is 4 of 12, so they've struggled from the free throw line, but they've taken 12 foul shots, while Cairo has just had 4. Bell makes good on that, he'll get the bonus.
Yeah, I mean, the Lions, if they're a little bit better from the free throw line, they could be right, almost tied in this game easily. So they need to make some adjustments here and try to get back to that free throw line and be able to capitalize. Nice job by Bell stepping up there and making 2 in a row. We haven't seen that in a while.
And so we're under a minute to go here in the first half. 33-26, the Cairo lead. Lisle would be smart to get a good shot here at the end of the half. And there's the man that you want to have the ball in his hands, Parker.
Yeah, he's really slowed down here in the second period. He hasn't had too many touches. And give credit to Roman Wright. He's done a nice job of putting the defense on him. You haven't seen much of his name on the offensive end, but defensively doing a great job.
Under 10 seconds now. Parker for 3, no good. Long rebound, got it, chased it down to the corner, and he's fouled, so he's going to get a couple of free throws. He comes down hard and still is down.
Yeah, landed right on his hip. Call that a hip pointer right there, and he's really in pain right now.
Foul is on Roman Wright. Here's that collision.
Gets the offensive glass, and Wright comes over there. Just as he releases, he caught off balance and lands right on that left hip. And that really hurts, let me tell you.
So the second foul on Wright. And Parker is walking gingerly to the free throw line.
And the problem now is that you go in halftime, you rest, that thing tightens up, and you try to come back out. It's really hard to get back into the flow, so it'll be interesting how he responds here beginning of the 3rd quarter.
And now the Pilots will make a substitution as well.
Yeah, here in the first half, free throw shooting really hurt the Lions. 4 for 13 from the free throw line.
Anthony Jackson is in now, and Roman Wright is out. Parker missed both of those free throws. We'll see if the Pilots can get a shot up. No, Robinson with the pick, and how do you like that? Count the baskets. Off the missed free throw, the Lions do wind up scoring. They don't get the points at the foul line. Instead, they get a layup on a turnover in the backcourt.
Well, what a first half by Jeff Robinson. Picks up his team. They go in with a little momentum. Easily could have been down much more.
Well, instead, it's a 33-28 Cairo 5-point lead over Lisle. And Lee Hall is standing by with Cairo's head coach, Larry Baldwin.
All right, Kurt, thanks a lot. Coach, not real pleased with the way the half ended there.
No, I'm not. I'm very disappointed. We're a much better basketball team. These kids have really upset me tonight. I guess maybe it's the crowd or whatever. I don't know, but they're going to come back out here second half, and they're going to play some basketball.
You guys got off to a slow start there. Lisle jumped out 7-0 early. They did fight back and take a lead, though.
Well, that's understandable. You know, we don't know very much about being up here, but maybe we've got the jitters out now. We can come back out and play basketball.
All right, Coach, good luck to you second half.
Thank you.
All right, Larry Baldwin not real pleased with his team as he goes into the locker room. They're probably going to get an earful. We'll get an earful from you right now.
Well, thank you, Lee. A 5-point Cairo lead, 33-28. Back with more at halftime at Carver Arena after this local break.
It's 33-28. Cairo leads Lisle here at the half. Lee Hall along with you back here at Carver Arena as we finish off the quarterfinals here. Class A March Madness. We've got the Lisle cheerleaders with us. Woo! Now, when they first introduced themselves, Amy's the captain, and then the girl next to her was Amy. I thought they were all named Amy for a minute, but they're not. We've got a Julie and a Virginia and all kinds of. Tell me, Amy, excuse me, Mr. Lion. Is that Leo? Leo the Lion? Oh. Tell me about what you guys have done to get ready. I saw some of your artwork up in the stands. You guys made some stuff for the fans to wave around.
We made streamers and we got everybody's hair done today. And we did the little tattoos on our face. Took a whole day to get ready. Shoelaces and new socks.
New shoelaces and new socks. That's always a big deal for me. You know, when I get new socks, I'm always excited. Of course, I've got 4 kids. Hey, tell me what it's been like. Anybody else want to talk? Okay, the other Amy. Tell me what it's been like around school this week.
Oh, it's been crazy. Everyone's like all excited about it. We got a half day today. We got to get off at 1 o'clock. It was awesome. Like the whole school was there for our game and everything. It was so great.
All right, earlier today I forgot to talk to the guy cheerleader, so I don't want to miss talking to the guy cheerleader. You probably take a lot of heat during the year, but this has to make it all worth it, right?
Yeah, I just started tumbling and they leave me alone. So, but you better watch out. The last game I hit the cameraman, so.
All right, Jeffrey, okay, are you all right? We're going to keep Jeffrey away from him. I was going to put on the lion head until I saw how sweaty this guy was, so I'm going to leave it there. Do your cheer real quick. Hurry or I'm going to get in trouble.
Beat the pilots, beat the pilots, fight. Let's go! Beat the pilots, beat the pilots, fight. B-E-A-T, beat the pilots, fight. B-E-A-T, beat the pilots, fight.
All right, nice job, ladies and gentlemen. And Lion, thank you very much. That's the Lisle cheerleaders. They trail, though, here at halftime. 33-28, Cairo with the lead. Back with more from the Civic Center in Peoria after these local messages.
33-28, our halftime score. Cairo leads Lisle in this last of the state quarterfinals here at Carver Arena. The winner gets Mount Carroll in the state semifinals tomorrow. Kurt Pegler, Doug Altenberger back with the interesting first half. We thought maybe Cairo would be the team scoring all of its points in transition and off turnovers, but actually Lisle has more points in transition and off turnovers than does Cairo. The Pilots are scoring in the paint.
Well, and the reason Larry Baldwin was so upset with Cairo was that they've had 11 turnovers here in the first half. I mean, you just can't have that many turnovers. And then on the boards, they're just getting out rebounded. So those are two areas, and it tells you how sharp and how hard you're working. In that area, I think he anticipated them to excel in, and right now they're being defeated in it.
Let's take a look at some of those first half statistics. Break this game down for you, at least as far as the numbers are concerned. The field goals are about the same. Big disparity in free throws favoring Lisle as far as the total number, although they both made just 4 from the line. But right now Lisle is winning the battle of the boards.
Well, and the thing about Lisle could easily be winning this game if they're a little bit better at the free throw line, shooting only 29%. So that's really hurt them. Did a good job getting to the free throw line and trying to score, but just weren't able to convert. So here in the second half, it's important for them to continue this type of philosophy, get to the free throw line, but just be a little bit better shooting the basketball.
And then again, the disparity in fast break points actually favoring Lisle, but the points in the paint right now being won by Cairo, 22-18. And the shooting percentage is Cairo 13 of 26 for 50%. The Pilots really have to like that, especially when you play the up-tempo style that the Pilots play.
Yeah, but most of those points in the paint came early in the first couple periods there, and then later on they got away from getting the ball inside. So they need to get back in there. If they don't get the transition bucket or get the fast break going, then make sure they get the ball inside.
As far as the individual scoring is concerned, Cairo is led by Brandon Childs, their second-team All-Stater. He has 11. Parker started out with 9 quick points for Lisle, but that's about where Pierre Parker is standing at halftime. They've done a nice job in making some defensive adjustments, and they slowed him down after that very fast start. You recall that Lisle started the game 7-0 in the first minute of the game.
Yeah, Cairo, Brandon Childs, 3 for 6 from three-point land, got 9 points out of 11, and Parker really silent in the second period. I mean, he really didn't have any good looks, and give Roman White all the credit there. Played great defense and really good job of shutting him down.
33-28. Cairo, the halftime 5-point lead over Lisle. We expect a good second half. We hope you'll stick around for that. That comes up next after this local break. (33-28). The Cairo Pilots lead the Lisle Lions. Let's take a look at some of those first half highlights. The highlights would have shaped the first 16 minutes of action here at Carver Arena.
Yeah, Tamaris Crowder did a nice job getting in the transition, getting out in the break. One of the few buckets he had in the first half, but did a good job by Cairo to get back defensively. And Matkins did a good job, had a nice, solid first half, 6 points, played solid defense. And Mike Doxey did a nice job. Even though he's 5'9", he goes in among the trees. He's able to finish it off. And he had a nice, solid first half. And Williams does a nice job of finishing it off right there. And on the transition, the fast break there, and you see Larry Baldwin. I'm sure he gave him an inspirational halftime speech. He was very frustrated that first period.
And his team has the 5-point lead. You'd hate to see what happens if they were losing. Let's go now to Lee Hall, who's standing by with Mark D'Amico, the Lisle Lions head coach.
All right, guys, thanks a lot. Coach, you guys got off to a great start. Cairo's pretty athletic team. They make some moves that just make your eyes go buggy, don't they?
They're quick, and we said we got to take care of the ball. I thought we did that early, and then I thought that we got in a little too rushed end of the first, second quarter, I thought we could have taken care of the ball better. Some turnovers cost us. We missed some shots, though. We missed free throws. We had some good looks at threes. We got to put those down. We got to hit free throws, number one. I hope we keep getting those looks at threes that we were getting. So, and then just continue to play the defense. I still think the key is keep them off the boards.
All right, Coach, good luck to you second half.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Kurt, Doug, back to you.
All right, Lee, thank you. 33-28. Cairo leads Lisle. Third quarter action coming up next after this network break. (33-28). The Cairo Pilots lead the Lisle Lions in this final state quarterfinal of this Friday session in the 2003 Class A state championships in Peoria. The winner gets Mount Carroll in the second state semifinal. The other two semifinalists, Warrensburg Latham and Chicago Hales Franciscan. So 3 teams in, one more team to be decided to make the Final Four here for the 2003 state championships. And it's a wonderful situation, Doug, because none of these 8 teams have ever been to Peoria before since the tournament moved here 8 years ago.
Yeah, it seems like everything sort of goes in shifts here. You see Lisle's overtime wins they've had this year, 2 over Dwight, which has been a powerhouse in that area. So done a great job if they can get this back within, even it up here. It's very important here in the third period that Lisle comes out, makes some buckets like Mark D'Amico said, and get these guys back on the, offensively, get them in a positive frame of mind. I thought going into the end of the second quarter, their confidence was shaken.
Lisle with the basketball to open the third quarter. Lisle in the white uniforms, Cairo in the dark blue. We're seeing a zone defense out of the Pilots to open the second half. And we're seeing a steal. Gary Williams nearly ran into the first row.
Took out a March Madness helper right there.
Yeah. When you volunteer for March Madness, they don't tell you that you might get run over.
Come back Monday. Well, what happened? How did you blow your knee out?
I was in the wrong place at the wrong time when Gary Williams was chasing down a loose ball. Parker for 3 from the corner. His first shot of the second half is missed, and Devontae Williams clears for the Pilots.
Yeah, there's an example of they got the shot they want and the guy they wanted to shoot, Pierre Parker, just doesn't go down.
Now Brandon Childs can't get the shooter's touch, and back to clear that time high to get it is Tamaris Crowder.
Beginning of this third period is like the beginning of the first period. Everybody wants to know if they can knock down a couple threes. Doesn't go well. Then they start listening to coach. Okay, I'll get it inside now.
They always talk about the first 5 minutes of the game and the first 5 minutes of the second half, and each team trying to kind of make that statement at the start of the here.
Yeah, Gene Cady used to say, I'd like to be the first guy to, to score in the opening possession, the first half and second half, and at the end of the first half. So that's his sort of philosophy, same type of thinking that you talked about, Kurt.
Crowder missed the tough shot. The Pilots come back now. Nice cutting move that time by Anthony Mackins. He scored the first basket of the game for Cairo in the first quarter, and now the first basket here in the second half for the Pilots, and their lead is now 35-28. And a nice save that time by Lisle, and a basket by Tamaris Crowder, who took it right to the basket.
When Crowder gets out in that open court, he knows where to go. He goes right to the hoop real strong, and there you see Gary Williams is called for carrying. Sort of had a bad habit. He did that a couple times in the first quarter at the open. Turned the ball over, and got to make sure your hand stays on top of that basketball. When it goes underneath, that's when you get called for the carry.
13th turnover now for the Pilots. And Lisle tries to cut into that 5-point Cairo lead. As we mentioned in the onset, a 7-0 Lisle advantage to open the game has been wiped out by Cairo. Now Parker, 4-3 again. That time it's down. He's got the shooter's mentality, and he's going to keep firing them up. It's now a 2-point game, 35-33 in favor of the Pilots. Childs to Williams, who draws a double team. Play catch, right back out to Childs, who missed the 3, and the long rebound comes to Mike Doxey. You can hear Mark D'Amico, the head coach of the Lions, screaming for his team to pull it back out. He did not have the advantage in transition.
Larry Baldwin comes out in that zone the first couple possessions. Doesn't like what he sees, goes back to the man-to-man. I thought the zone played right into Lyle's hands. They were able to take the shots they want, get it in that guy's, let him get his touches. Finally was able to knock down a 3.
Boyd is playing with 3 fouls, had a shot rejected that time by Williams. Out to Robinson. Tries to answer with a 3, didn't get it, but he got his own rebound. And drew the foul. No, he was walked. He walked, I'm sorry. And we've got a timeout on the floor. 4:52 to go here, third quarter. Cairo 35, Lisle 33. Back with more action from Peoria and Carver Arena after this local break.
Early in the season, we had beaten them pretty good. We beat them pretty bad. But they've got a heck of a coach, Matt Wynn. He put his team together, and they defeated us in the BIT, which was the first game in the Benton tournament. Beat us pretty good. They beat us pretty handily. So we felt we had to come back and rebound from that in the super sectionals and try and pull one out. But it was a tough ball game. From start to finish, it was anybody's ball game. Down the stretch, the athleticism pretty much paid off, I think.
Indeed it did. Larry Baldwin's team beat Benton in the Carbondale Super Sectional on Tuesday night to get here. He's been a real treasure to talk to in the last 24 hours. He shoots from the hip. He doesn't hold anything back. And he's just happy to be here. He says he's representing the entire area of Southern Illinois in his 9th year at Cairo. Larry Baldwin.
Yeah, I like what he said about his critics. He told the critics, keep yelling at me, keep criticizing me. It motivates me more.
Rebound basket by Anthony Mackins, and now full court pressure put on by the Pilots. Yeah, he said he's happy to represent Southern Illinois, even for the critics who've been on him for 9 years. He said, hey, keep criticizing me, it makes me a better coach. That's a great observation. Missed shot that time as Crowder couldn't finish. Now on the other end, it's going to be Devontae Williams. He can't finish. Both teams missing baskets in transition, and now Doxey brings the ball back up, and he's pickpocketed that time from behind by the lightning quick Williams, who then had his pocket picked and out of bounds.
Well, Williams is amazing, and he's all over. If you want to know where he is, just find out where the basketball is. He's got a nose for that basketball, and I mean, he just attacks at all times, whether it's on defense or offense.
Mackins. They're going to wave the basket off and say the foul happened before the shot. So the Pilots will get the ball under the basket. Meanwhile, the foul on Brandon Boyd is a critical one because he has now just picked up his 4th foul. So one of the senior starters for the Lisle Lions is in some serious foul trouble with 4 fouls at the 3:46 mark here in the 3rd quarter. Now Mackins lost the ball on the floor, and we may have a reach-in foul, and we do. And it's on Tamaris Crowder of Lisle. See the points as far as the fast break points are concerned. Lisle is actually taking advantage of the fast break opportunities better than Cairo is right now.
And part of that equation is turnovers. I mean, turnovers have really hurt Cairo. So 12 already, and Lyle's only got 11. But like you talked about, Kurt, the turnovers that Lyle's had, they've been able to get back in transition.
Nicely done off the inbounds. It's Roman Wright who came right down the heart of the defense and scored off the inbounds.
And that's the problem when you play a zone. It's hard to match up. Guy cuts into the lane, you got to communicate. Someone's got to pick him up.
Now it's Parker spinning and having a shot rejected out of bounds by Anthony Mackins. That's the 4th block of the game right now for the Pilots.
Pierre Parker does a great job, does a beautiful spin move here on Wright, then goes out of there. He says, Nope, not this time, and he picked that thing way up on top of the glass.
The great eraser when you can get down the floor and get up that early, huh?
That was great anticipation. Looked like Bill Russell on that shot, blocking it.
Lisle right now shooting 33% from the field, Doug. They've really struggled, 13 of 39.
Yeah, and you can see most of the games, 3 out of the 4 games have sort of gone like this, where the teams that play that transition up and down tempo have just started to wear down the teams that like to play more of the traditional half-court sets. And they might stay up with them for a while, but it's like the middle of the 3rd quarter, and then all of a sudden, the beginning of the 4th quarter, that transitional team, the up-tempo team, shifts in that 5th gear.
Well, Doxey with a nice steal for Lisle, stepped right in the passing lane, takes it all the way down on Williams and scored. Nicely done.
Doxey does a great job going coast to coast there and finishing that shot off, and it was a difficult finish. He's able to convert.
And now it's 39-35, a 4-point game, make it back to a 6-point game as Anthony Mackin shows his range off. He's used to scoring in the paint, but there he scores on the perimeter. And now Parker takes it down 1-on-3, lost the ball out of bounds, and it goes back to Cairo.
You know, the problem with Lisle is even though they might get some numbers, there you see Mark D'Amico not real happy with the no call. And you know, you want to get the numbers and you want to get behind that pressure, but I think sometimes when you take that quick shot, you're feeding right into the hands of the Pilots.
Good steal by Crowder as he went from behind and knocked it, and then he missed the shot, but following it is Doxey. He got his missed shot back and floated it up and in. A couple of contested shots. That was not going to be easy.
Yeah, another fast break point for Lisle. It just seems like they're taking a page out of Cairo's booklet on the offensive end.
No doubt about it. 16 fast break points now for Lisle. Parker, his 3 is short. Williams gets it back now for the Pilots. Nearly traveled with it. Flipped it up now to Childs. Crossover dribble working on Parker, and it's going to be a foul on Doxey. And now we see some of the foul trouble. Boyd and Crowder each with 4 fouls for Lisle. Cairo has 5 of its players with 2. And now Doxey's just picked up his 3rd foul for the Lions.
Well, if it becomes, you know, like a foul fest, obviously Cairo's got the deeper bench they can tap into there, whereas Lisle really doesn't have that. Here you see the no-look pass and gets undercutted right there. What a great move between the legs and dishes off, and Doxey's just a late step getting there, gets called for the foul.
Robinson in and Crowder out now for the Lions. And a reach-in foul by David Salad. And you can hear Mark D'Amico, the Lisle head coach, as he's pleading with his team to stay out of that foul trouble.
If I wouldn't know any better, he'd be a perfect wrestling coach. He's, you know, he's got that mentality.
He's got the animation, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He wears his heart on his sleeve for sure. Childs left open. His 3 from the wing is no good, and the rebound goes out to Parker now. And Mark D'Amico screams for his team to hold it up and walk the ball up the floor as we approach the 1-minute mark left here in the 3rd quarter, and Lisle trying to cut into a 4-point Cairo Pilot lead. Logeman thought about the 3, but instead gives it up to Parker, who works his way in. Short shot off the glass, can't get it. Tipped into the corner and out of bounds. Lisle maintains possession.
Now Lisle's hanging in this game. There you see the blocks. Obviously, the athleticism of Cairo is a prime example there. But they're just hanging in this game, and if they could just keep it close as much as they can and catch some fire here in the 4th quarter, get that lead, they could take some time off the clock, and then they're able to then have the Pilots play their type of basketball. So critical possessions here down the stretch.
Doxey stops and pops, but can't come away with it. And all the way up court now is Brandon Childs, left alone, and he scores.
And what happened there was Doxey, who's the point guard who got to get back, he's the one that shot the shot. You saw the youngster Jeff Robinson, the sophomore, no one gets back.
Gary Williams comes away with a steal, and Doxey's down on the floor. He may have turned an ankle as he lost his balance right at the midcourt stripe.
And he's holding his ankle right there, too. They can't afford to lose his ball handling out there.
That's the second time that Doxey has stumbled out at midcourt. As you see the end of that basket by Williams, taking advantage of the turnover, and now Doxey is being helped to the Lisle bench.
Yeah, Williams is one of those guys, you think he could play like 2 or 3 games. I mean, he's one of those guys, never looks like he ever gets tired. He can run all day, and he just wears you down. He keeps coming at you.
And we understand that he's gone back to the locker room for a better inspection of his ankle, so we hope that everything is all right. It'd be a difficult injury to overcome. Mike Doxey, as you said, is a vital part of this team, Doug.
Yeah, he's their point guard. I mean, he's the guy that handles the rock for him, and right now someone's got to step up and do that.
And another turnover this time in the backcourt. The Pilots come away with it, but now the ball is loose, and still Cairo comes away with it. Now Childs down to a cutting basket that time. Nicely done. Byron Jackson in the game. He scores. And the Cairo lead is now 10 at 47-37. It's the largest lead of the night.
Yeah, this last minute of play here in the third quarter has been absolutely destructible for Lisle. They've had 6 points in a row by the Pilots.
Parker gets the loose ball, the offensive board, and he stuck it back in, and that's going to be the last points of the third quarter. Cairo has stretched the lead from 4 points at halftime to 8 points at the end of 3, 47-38. Fourth quarter action from Carver Arena is up after this local break. (47-39), the Cairo lead. Let's go to our sideline reporter, Lee Hall.
All right, Kurt, we're up in the stands with Glenn Box Jr. He played for Cairo the last time they went to state back in '93, got third place. Run down your trip to state for us. What happened to you? You won first game.
And then we got beat by Hills in the semifinal game. They hit a shot with about 3 seconds to go. Basically killed our year, and we finished third. Ended up being a pretty good year. First time back, though. Our kids are back, so hopefully we make the best of it.
How does this team now compare to the team 10 years ago?
This team's good. This team's a lot deeper than we were. Without a doubt, more athletic ball players. They're deep. They go 1 through 10. Their lineup's strong. They're very good. They have a legitimate shot of winning this thing.
You guys are up 8. You feel pretty good about your chances?
Oh yeah, I think our depth's gonna prevail here real shortly.
All right, you heard it from Glenn Box Jr. Took home a third place trophy 10 years ago, hoping for better things from the Pilots this year. Back to you guys.
Yeah, all right, Lee, that was the last trip to state for Cairo back in '93. They finished third back in '81. Oh, missed basket that time in transition. Anthony Mackins had a golden chance for a lay-in. He couldn't get it. Childs gets it back. And now a slam dunk on the other end. He got his revenge. Mackins with the jam, and now Lisle trying to answer. A three from the outside is no good by Crowder. And now Parker on the offensive board. He'll try a three for the Lions. That's an air ball. Crowder gets it back and scooped it in. A tough shot. Now, how about that sequence, Doug? Mackins misses a lay-in on one end and then gets a lob from Devontae Williams and jams.
I think he got mad that he missed that shot and wanted a second chance and put on a show there. It was a little showtime for the Pilots finally getting out and getting after it. I don't think Larry Baldwin, he hadn't sat down the whole game.
No,
and he's got that scowl, like he hasn't been happy the whole game, like he wants more. He's never satisfied.
That's right. And a nice lob from Williams to a cutting Brandon Childs off the inbounds. They've done a nice job of scoring on set plays off the inbounds, Doug.
Yeah, they do a good job. Nice eye contact, especially throwing that lob when they're in the zone. They'll throw a lob right in the middle of the paint area. Guy will just step up.
The lead is 10, and a near acrobatic play there by Gary Williams is on the seat of his pants after climbing over the top that time of Pierre Parker. Take a look at those third quarter stats for you.
And there you see the free throws evening up from three-point land. Either side hasn't been very successful from behind the three-point arc, but surprisingly, Lisle's winning the battle of the boards. That's kept them in the game a little bit. And one thing that, as I think that the Pilots have done a much better job here in the second half, is get that ball inside.
Short shot is missed by Pierre Parker. Back come the Pilots. For three is Brandon Childs. Missed it. Williams, the offensive board and the stick back, and a three-point opportunity now for Devontae Williams.
Yeah, Devontae Williams has had some great putbacks and had a spectacular dunk in the first half, and he's done a yeoman's job down on the boards, and they shoot a quick three-point shot. Don't get the ball inside, but like Mackins and Williams and the rest of the guys and Bell are starting to establish themselves, and just they've got that depth in that front line. They just keep throwing bodies at you. 6'4", 6'6" guys, and Lisle really doesn't have an answer right now.
And he followed home the missed free throw. The tip in off the offensive rebound. It's now a 14-point Cairo lead, the largest of the evening. 55-41, and a steal. And the Pilots are smelling blood right now.
Yeah, they're going for the jugular vein right here. I mean, they're really pushing it hard.
And a lay-in now again. This time it's Seville Bell. And Cairo is really putting it on.
That's what they do. That's what pressure teams do. Once they get that spurt ability, as Clark Kellogg says, they start going. They keep coming at you. You might score one bucket, but they're going to score three right on top of you.
Well, everything seems to be going the way of the Cairo Pilots right now. They have a 57-41 lead over Lisle. And Lisle now shooting 32% from the floor at 17 of 53. They're not taking advantage of some of the short shots they've been able to get. The Cairo fans are now really getting into it as well. Jeff Robinson's going to check on the game and replace Matt Logeman.
Yeah, Logeman really has had any looks behind that three-point arc. Excellent three-point shooter, but just really hasn't had a lot of good chances. Whoa, that's from the parking lot. That looked at everything but go in.
And Parker brings the ball up the floor. Now Robinson, his three is no good. Long rebound is chased down by Boyd. He's in the game with 4 fouls. Parker changed his shot, nearly turned it over. Now got it back in the corner. Trying to create. Spins and shoots it in. And now the Pilots come back. And a jam that time and a nice lob. It's showtime. Devontae Williams on the dunk on the feed from Childs. And a steal by Devontae Williams now. He'll take it back, and it's going to be a blocking foul against Lisle. And that's going to be against Doxey, and that should be his 4th.
Yeah, boy, the opening in this fourth quarter has been a highlight feel for Devontae Williams. This guy's been all over the court. And we talked about the front line of the Pilots, and they're just starting to wear down Lisle. Lisle right now just really having a hard time getting the ball in the basket. Even when they get good opportunities down the offensive end, they're just exhausted.
I misspoke there. That was foul number 5 now on Mike Doxey. Well, the good news was the ankle injury wasn't severe enough to keep him out. The bad news is he came in and picked up his 5th foul. So,
well, I think that ankle injury did bother him a little bit. He turned the basketball over, and sometimes it's hard to pivot or have that explosiveness, which he plays off of when you've got an ankle that you just turned.
And Devontae Williams, who's had quite a night, is at the foul line trying to add to his 16-point total. He is a perfect 7 out of 7 from the floor.
Cairo shooting 52% from the field. There you see his numbers. You guys, that makes up for a lot of missed shots on the perimeter when you've got a guy like that perfect from the field.
And a tip in off the missed free throw by Anthony Mackins, and the Pilots have done a wonderful job in doing that off missed foul shots. And now a steal. They're trying to drive a dagger right now in the heart of Lisle. An 18-point lead in the basketball.
Seems like in a blink of an eye too, you know.
Yep.
It was like almost beginning of the, end of the third quarter, or towards the end, they're only down by 4.
Well, you made that point that those teams that play that style about halfway through the third quarter, when they got a chance to go for the knockout punch, they typically do, and that's what the Pilots are doing right now. They lead at 61-43 with 3:50 to go. This IHSA broadcast is brought to you by Country Insurance and Financial Services. Real people, real answers, real quick. And by Yanko Tractor. You've got to drive one.
We got the Columbia band here, but they can't play because we're coming back. I'm all ready for my cowbell solo. I studied cowbell at the Sorbonne. The Columbia band is here. Wave at everybody, even though you're not playing, all right? It's a big deal for them to come to state, too. Back to you.
They've done a nice job, really, in between games and throughout the afternoon and night sessions of keeping the pep band going. Oh, a three-point basket opportunity now for Anthony Mackins. And the Pilots are really driving it home now.
I didn't know Lee Hall would be Sir George Schulte at Orchestra Hall there in Chicago. We'll have to. That's okay. You have to live in Chicago. Know the guy, Sir George. Yeah.
Three-point opportunity now for Mackins, and the post players, Mackins and Devontae Williams, have done a great job now for the Pilots, and Brandon Boyd has picked up his 5th foul, and he's been disqualified. So Boyd leaves the game now with 5 fouls, 5 rebounds, and 5 points.
And that's one of the keys for Lisle, was Boyd had to come up big. And once he got in foul trouble, that really hurt his offensive side of the game. He really couldn't take it to the glass, be aggressive. He was worried about picking up that 5th foul.
So he makes the free throw, and the lead now is 21. It's 64-43. Jerry Hardiman is now checking the game for the Cairo Pilots. Well, it's been a long night for the Lisle Lions, who ripped out of the gates with a 7-0 lead. But certainly a wonderful season, a team not expected to be here, even admittedly so by the head coach. He thought that last year's Lisle team was the team that was going to make it to the state quarterfinals, but it was this year's team at 20-13 that made its way to Peoria and have represented Lisle in the Interstate 8 Conference very well tonight.
Well, if there's any team that foot the Cinderella team, I mean, it was these guys. I mean, they came in here, caught fire during the state tournament, and you know, right now they just ran into a super hot team in Cairo. Cairo right now is as good as anybody we've seen here play so far, so they've got a good chance to make a run at the championship.
Now Pierre Parker, the man at the free throw line, is just a junior. Tamaris Crowder is just a junior. Jeff Robinson, who's logged serious minutes, is a sophomore. So Lisle has some underclassmen, and they could be making a run again next year.
Yeah, and like you said, Kurt, that's good point, that they could really build off this year, work hard in the summer, you know, getting those camps, and everybody's got to work hard to get them. To get back to this level, although it takes a little luck and other things, and but it takes a lot of hard work also.
Yeah, Mike Doxey is an underclassman, a junior. John McDonald, who's seen some playing time at junior. So Lisle still has some players that can, piece together the season, and we might be seeing them next year here in Peoria. Spin move and shot that time by Crowder is no good. Back come the Pilots. Williams has had a great game, and he finishes with a jam. Devontae Williams, 8 of 8 from the floor now, 18 points.
Yeah, it's showtime now. It's the highlight film is out, the videotape's going. These guys are having some fun now.
Well, Mackins and Williams have combined for 37 of Cairo's 66, the post players. Oh boy, big collision down low in a basket by David Sally. And now on the other end, guess who? Williams caught from behind by Crowder, who knocked the ball out of his hands and out of bounds.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Mackins and Williams going against Haas and Yoakum, those guys. It's going to be quite a matchup with Mount Carroll.
And a nice round of applause from the Cairo fan section as some of the starters find their way to the Pilots bench. And Larry Baldwin gets a chance to make some substitutions. And now Lyle's doing the same, as Mark D'Amico is emptying his bench and giving his players an opportunity to come into this state quarterfinal game and get a chance to play on the floor here at the Civic Center in Peoria. Well, the Pilots coaching staff told us yesterday they wanted to get the score in the 70s, and they're 4 points away from doing that.
Yeah, they've, I mean, the tempo, the whole tempo has been to their liking. I mean, Lisle came out hot in that first period, but they tried to stay with them. Sometimes you can be fooled by having early success, and I think that hurt them.
Blocking foul is whistled. See what they call that against for Lisle.
But they just had too many weapons, Cairo did. I mean, they've got a fearless bench coming off of Duncan and Bell and Lowe, and you know, the starters, they have got good balance right across the line, and they're pretty versatile too. So that gives Larry Baldwin a lot of options. Just too many options for Lisle to try to defend.
Paul Muchler picked up that foul, and it's free throw time now for Brandon Childs. Childs had a rough night on Tuesday in the Super Sectional. He scored 8 points on just 2 of 11 shooting. And tonight he's just 6 of 21 shooting, so he hasn't exactly tore it up. But hey, his team won Tuesday night, and his team is under 2 minutes away from winning and cementing itself in the state semifinals and getting at least a 4th place trophy home at the very least. Follow-up basket is tipped in that time by Roman Wright.
I wonder if we're going to see Larry Baldwin, the coach for Cairo, smile maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get him on camera there at the end. And he was really upset that first period when he thought his guys should have played a lot better. But they responded here in the second half.
Well, his Cairo Pilots are 80 seconds away from getting into the Final Four in the Class A state tournament here in Peoria. There's a steal, and now Parker's ahead. All the way down, flipped it up with the left hand, couldn't get it to go, but he'll get some free throws out of it. So as Doug says, Cairo is on its way to taking on Mount Carroll. It'll be Cairo and Mount Carroll tomorrow. This copyright broadcast is presented for the exclusive entertainment, non-commercial use of our audience. Any reproduction, rebroadcast, use of the program without the express written consent of the Illinois High School Association, and cost broadcast sales is strictly prohibited. More substitutions for the Pilots now coming in. Hey, it's nice. If you're going to bus up here 6 hours, try to get the guys in the game, right?
Exactly. Might be revolt coming back down. Coach, you should have put me in when we were up by 20.
Now Pierre Parker, who averages 16 points a game, now has 21 for Lisle. He is the Lions' leading scorer. In fact, the only scorer on the Lions in double figures right now. And a basket on the other end for Cairo is Anthony Jackson, who's a junior in the game. Under a minute to go now. A foul that time. It was nearly a tackle on the play. Paul Muchler's going to get a couple of free throws.
Yeah, a tough day for the Parker family. TJ at Northwestern had a tough go at Illinois. Illinois came out hot today in the Big Ten tournament. I think they could have beat anybody in the country. And then I think Pierre Parker and Lisle hit one of the hotter teams here in the state tournament here. Cairo Pilots came out and just really took it to them. I don't think they could have played much better here in the second half.
I'm sorry, no free throws yet. They're not quite in the bonus. But hey, McDonald gets a basket out of it anyway. So they get their 2 points. It's 71-52, the Pilots lead. And Lyle's going to get the basketball back after a turnover here. Well, if you ask head coach Mark D'Amico, he'll tell you a great story that he figures his team really should have been out of the postseason. In the second game of the regionals, it was the regional semifinal against Dwight. We showed you the graphic that they won one of those, both of those overtime games against Dwight. In that game, Dwight was at the free throw line with a tie score with no time left on the clock and 2 free throws. Didn't get either of them to go down. D'Amico said he was halfway down the floor ready to shake the coach's hand. He thought the game was over, but instead neither free throw went down, and Lisle wound up winning the game in overtime. So he really thought making it this far was an absolute bonus. He really felt his season should have been over in game 2 of the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at this team and you talk about fulfilling their potential, and they really did. I mean, they did a great job of finishing off the season and had a special year.
A year which is down to its final 15 seconds. Both teams screaming no foul, no foul. That's Jerry Hardiman off the bench and in the scorebook. And that's going to be the final hoop of this final state quarterfinal here at Carver Arena. An impressive victory for the Cairo Pilots. 73-52 winners over Lisle. They're headed to the Final Four. They'll take on Mount Carroll tomorrow in the second state semifinal. Back with more in a post-game wrap-up after this network break. Lisle, special thanks to 3 Fat Guys Pizza in East Peoria. They've been providing lunch for our outstanding and very hungry crew. Their menu includes great pizza, sandwiches, and a whole bunch of appetizers. 3 Fat Guys Pizza, a great friend of the IHSA television network. Cairo, an impressive 73-52 win over Lisle in this final state quarterfinal. And so the field is now set for the Final Four, and the Pilots will be flying into it. And Lee Hall is standing by with one of the stars of the Pilots, Devontae Williams.
Devontae Williams, 18 points. Kurt Pegler, he is our country insurance player of the game. Can you repeat what Coach Baldwin told you guys at halftime?
The playtime potential, don't think about the fans out here. It seemed like we started out just worried about the fans and weren't worried about the game. Told us to step it up and play with our heart.
Yeah, you guys really did step it up there in the second half. Some pretty spectacular dunks out there for you. Is that usual?
Yeah, it's usual. That's what get us even hyper. We get dunks that make everybody even play more harder.
Yeah. You guys are able to, when you're down low on the blocks, looks like the defender is there and has you closed off, you're able to snake through and slither through and make a move to the basket. It's fun to watch.
Oh yeah, we used to doing because we used to playing with bigger people than us, so it's fun down there.
Devontae, congratulations. Larry Baldwin is here.
Hey there,
you are a little happier than the last time we talked to you.
Yeah, I am now. I was very disappointed in my kids in the first half. We're a much better basketball team than that, but I think they sort of felt like, well, Coach, we can beat them. Why don't you just sit down and leave us alone? But the thing of it is they've done this all year long. They'll come out and not play well, but they do whatever it takes to win the basketball game. So I guess that's what they did tonight.
Did you get a chance to see Mount Carroll at all, the team that you'll play tomorrow for the semifinals?
You know, I tried to, but this is my first time coming up here, and it was. I just never really got a chance to do it, but I know they're a very fine basketball team, and I know they're going to pull the best out of us, and we're going to come out and play tomorrow. You can bet on that because we know we have to.
Your team has come up against a lot of obstacles this year, play a lot of games on the road as an independent. You've overcome it all.
Yeah, we have. You know, like I said, I was a little disappointed in them, but when I look back over the years, over this year, we've always had our moments where we didn't play quite well, but we've always had those moments where we found a way to win basketball games. So I'm excited. I'm elated. This is my first win ever of here in the state. First time ever coming, and I take my hat off to my kids. I love them.
All right, Coach, congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to look like twins tomorrow because I got a blue coat, too.
Hey, that's
looking
good.
forward to it.
Okay. You're homeboy anyway.
All right, Larry Baldwin, congratulations. The Cairo Pilots move on to the semifinals. Back to you, Kurt.
Yeah, but Lee, you don't have one of those little spunky boutonnieres there. We have to find one of those. 73-52, an impressive win really for the Pilots. Started slowly, but boy, did they pour it on, especially in the third and fourth quarters.
Yeah, I mean, they scored 54 of the 73 points inside the paint area. I mean, they really did a terrific job. getting the ball inside, and they were very patient. I thought that was really the big difference. They just wore down Lisle. Lisle at the end there just didn't have much to go in the tank, and they attacked Boyd and the rest of those guys. So Lisle had a great season, but no question, Cairo is one of the better teams in the state, and they proved it tonight.
Anthony Mackins with 19, Devontae Williams with 18, and again, the Pilots with an impressive 73-52 win over Lisle, and they're in the state semifinals. They'll take on Mount Carroll in the second state semi tomorrow. Well, we're done with one day, but we've got 4 more games tomorrow, and we're going to crown a new state champion, and we hope you're alongside on the IHSA television network. For Lee Hall and for Doug Altenberger, this is Kurt Pegler. Cairo again a winner, 73-52 to move into the Final Four. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you tomorrow along the lines of the IHSA television network. Good night.